Celestial Astrology, unlocking the secrets of the celestial heavens and learning how we can weave its mystical gems and star-studded guidance so we can have the most epic life ever. Ready to take the cosmic plunge with me? Okay, beloveds, ready, set, go. And today, our theme is liberating from the matrix. Let's rise, warriors. Today, we are taking this cosmic plunge into the astrology of the Scorpio New Moon. And boy, do we need this more than ever. This last 2 years has been an opportunity for us to take a sacred pause as we've been going through a collective cleanse. In Quechuan, this would be referred to as a pachacuti. And a pachacuti is where we can have in our personal lives as well as in the collective a complete reversal and a complete turning over, flipping upside down the world that we know of so that it can be turned and flipped right side up. And so in this experience of this last 2 years almost, can you believe that? This has been an opportunity for us to really dive into our own deep healing work, as well as be present with the healing that is needed in our collective and to really see the inequalities and the imbalances within our systems that are no longer working and are obsolete. And we could even refer back to the Tower card in the tarot where, everything is burning and it's all coming down. And that's what's happening right now, and I honor everybody's process and journey, through this experience. Some people are struggling more than others, and depending on where you are in the world and what your circumstances and in your life, what you're facing, when it really comes down to it, all this in our collective is necessary for us to be able to move into the future, into the beautiful prophecies of the elders for us to be able to restore Eden. This Scorpio moon, we are going to be looking at this pivotal moment in our collective for us to be able to break free, to be liberated AF. Yes, my passion is about liberation. And you know what? Gosh darn it, I'm going to say it, liberated as fuck. Because the fact is that we, as a collective, as a human species, we have the power within us. And I'm going off the cuff here, but these powers that be want us to be afraid. They want us to be in fear, but in truth, they are afraid of us because they realize how powerful that we are, especially in this time of great awakening. And so with all of this, right, we have been focusing a lot of waking up and seeing the inequalities of the world and seeing how these systems are obsolete and they're not working and they are not supporting the well-being of the earth and the beings on this planet, the animals, the life of all of nature and of the humans, of this human species. And so with this, there's been a lot of awakenings for ourselves, awakenings for what's not aligned in our life anymore, seeing the world and really just having a lot of time to really think and contemplate, and even discuss amongst others, even amongst, the energies of so many different realities that everybody's experiencing right now. One thing that we can all agree on is that we need to change the way that our world works. And personally for ourselves, we need to be able to change the way that we are navigating the world, especially in regards to what kind of future we are going to create here, okay? And so with that, because of that, we've gotten into this mode of thinking and thinking and thinking. And Scorpio is calling us into action, into massive action. So this is really a time to be excited, my loves. This moon, new moon in Scorpio, is at 12 degrees conjoined to the sun. Scorpio moon is in an exact opposition to Uranus. The moon is squaring the midpoint of Jupiter and Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius. They're in Aquarius. And so there is this energy for us to really slay our fears, of expanding into the luminous warriors that we are called to be and expanding our light and bringing our gifts so that we can help to be able to create a beautiful world for humanity. And so we have to think in our lives, even for myself, being able to take that sacred pause away from the public realm to really dive into my ceremony, my prayer for the planet, and help people that really needed help, to be there for those communities of people that would not have access to healing otherwise, to focus on my own healing and my own inner work, and really navigate about understanding from spirit and from my elders what's going on in humanity, and really hone into myself so that I could show up as a leader that I am today, and that I'm returning as from this hiatus, from my time, my sabbatical away from public society, you know? And so we can go through a lot of transformation and metaphors in this last, year and a half, but it really comes down to is that there has been a lot of energy in the last several months, especially with everything going on collectively, of really tightening us and restricting us in this restricting energy, and us going like this and going inwards. And, there's a good aspect of that. I remember one of my astrology teachers, with transits that happened earlier this year, that the restriction can actually be a good thing because we can use it to our benefit. But right now, it's about expanding out. It's about expanding out our light and our medicine, because humanity needs us more than ever. And so there can be a lot of thoughts going in our heads about worrying about a million different things, and worrying about, let's say, for me personally, like the restrictions, like, do I go online? Do I, for my classes, do I do person? Do I both of them, And I decided I'm going to do both. I'm going to be having my online circles, and I'm going to have my in-person circles, and, just us all wanting to just find the right way to go about everything. So a lot of times we can kind of go in our head and our mind and just go in these loops in our mind. But really, it's about dropping back into the heart. And Scorpio, right now, let me tell you, is going to help us to do that. And so that's what we can call in for this new moon. Okay, so I wanted to share that there's a very interesting aspect about the fact that this Scorpio moon is going to give us that needed alchemical fire to free ourselves from the chaos of this past year. It's time to stop spinning our wheels about thinking and trying to come up with all of these possibilities and trying to figure out how to navigate our lives. We have Uranus in Taurus, and that energy means that anything can change at a drop of a dime, okay? And so really, when we want to have this feeling of wanting to create some kind of consistency, or, we want everything to be, pretty and tied up into a box, the thing is, it doesn't allow for that. And so it can be extra challenging because of the fact that it's been so chaotic this last year and a half. But really, the way that we create that sense of solid, inner strength and certainty, like we want to get certainty, is not through the outer world events. It's about honing it back into ourselves. And that's why we do the inner work. That's why we go into ourselves. So there's a balance of doing the inner work, but then we have to actually take that out into our world, because it doesn't mean anything if we're not going to take the radical change that's happened within ourselves. We're not going to take those emotions and those passions and do something with them. So that's calling us into creating massive action. So really, this is a time to reignite our fires. Because let's face it, this last year has been, maybe for some people it's been more expansive and they've been, excelling in a lot of different areas of life, but there has been a lot of this energy of contraction in this last year and a half. And so that energy can have everything kind of slow and kind of sluggish. And even with the astrological transits, it's been very true, especially the last couple of months, very, very sluggish energy. And it's like, so we can even have like our passions and our fires, and then there's just not enough of that energy to kind of get it going. This new moon is going to allow and to give us that energy. We can take advantage of that energy. So really, it's about penetrating in to that energy of the Scorpio, that deep, penetrating emotional desire and that passion, that fire that's within ourselves, because that is what brings anything into life. It's a fire, right? Like, how do we be able to be creating our food? the electricity that we have, right? Like all of that is through that fire, that spark. And this is giving us the energy, that spark and that fire. With the aspect of, Uranus and Taurus being in the opposition, it's highlighting these deeper desires that we have to pivot for massive change. We have to get so divinely dissatisfied with whatever it is going on, whether it's internally within ourselves or within the world or within our life, that it creates a fire, a friction. Then that way we can take that. We can take that dissatisfaction and we can take the passion as well, that we want to make a change within ourselves, that we're no longer satisfied with the way that ourselves are inside, how we're treating ourselves, how we're treating our loved ones, how we're living our life, how the world is working. And then channel that along with the passion, along with that passion and that hunger, right? So that we can show up for ourselves and the world. It's time to stop bullshitting ourselves. It's time to stop making excuses, because the thing is that right now everything is so uncertain with the world, but what we do know is that we can be certain with is how we show up for ourselves and the collective. And so if we can just stop making excuses and we can slay our fears and just say, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it and I'm going to make radical changes in my own life. I'm going to go for it and I'm going to make radical changes in society by showing up and doing the best that I can be, and coming together with other like-minded souls, because I think that's really important, especially in this time of isolation. Not being able to always have those connections with other people in the world. Maybe you have community, maybe you have friends, family, maybe you don't. But that's also really important too, because when we have the energy together, that also creates a synergy, that creates a resonance field together. And so that's why I know it's really important for me to be able to step up and be able to offer my circles again, because it's time for us to gather. It really is time for us to gather. And I know this energy of the Scorpio New Moon, I'm taking advantage of it so that I can step up as a leader that I'm here to be, and that I can be able to support my community on a higher level. And grateful, so grateful that I took this time to really hone in on the work that I need to do for myself and for the planet and for my community, out of the public eye, but now I know this is my time to really show up so I can be there for my beautiful, beautiful soul family out here, and, and just knowing that we're all in this together. And so again, we're going to be moving out of this limbo energy, but the thing is, remember, astrology, as my astrology teacher taught me when I was studying in astrology school, is that the astrology gives us energies. And when there's opportunities, we have to take advantage of those opportunities. So this is really a moment where you're being called to take advantage of the opportunity, the energy right now to really step up to the plate, stepping up to the plate for yourself and stepping up to the plate for the collective. It gets right back into the heart, getting out of the head, into the heart. What do you feel? What do you desire? What doesn't work anymore for you? It doesn't matter what anybody else, however they're living their life, what doesn't work for you anymore? What doesn't work for you and your life, your personal life, for yourself? And how are you going to just change that? And just going and stepping up. And, you might not have the plan and see everything planned out. And of course, with Uranus and Taurus, it's a little bit more challenging to make long-term plans, because there's always those kind of lightning bolt moments that change everything. And one way you think you're going this way and one thing you're going that way. But the certainty that you can get and that control and that alignment comes within yourself. So the way that you do this is you show up for yourself. That's how you do it. You connect and hone into yourself. And that includes being able to I'm really getting this strongly from spirit, is to really ground in yourself, finding safety in your physical body, giving nervous system support, adrenal system support. I work a lot with my clients with adaptogens for their adrenals and nervous system tonics, and really helping to create safety in the body and different practices to ground and really be in our body and feel safe. So it's really important to take care of ourselves and to find ways that we can do that for ourselves. But then really it just goes back to this energy of, that it's time to take massive change and really just show up for ourselves and others and stop making those excuses. Scorpio is calling us out on the bullshit. It really is. It's saying, okay, guys, it's time to go. We've given you all this time over this last year and a half or so, and it's time because, our planet and Gaia needs us. And, you don't even have to worry about having it all figured out, because in truth, really, just showing up for yourself and showing up for the collective, that is perfectly as is, even if it's showing up for yourself, because showing up for yourself is showing up for the collective. The more that we do the healing work in ourselves, the more that we are able to slay our fears and liberate ourselves from these stories and, unhealthy dynamics within ourselves and our life, the more that we're empowered, the more that we can be a warrior, the more that we love ourselves and we bring love through our life and express that, the more that we're coming from a place of courage and love. And then with that, we are showing up in a different way that's going to hold our planet and hold the collective. So the more that we do the work on ourselves, the more that it heals our generations, future and past, and it helps to heal the collective. We're all in this together, and we're not alone. That's so key, that we're not alone. We are in this together. And again, it just really goes back to us being able, I just heard an owl. That's so amazing. That's a great sign, that we're really all in this together. And, it's time to just get real with what we desire for our future, for humanity, because right now we are at a crossroads, and the only way that we are going to be able to, not go down this path that appears to be this path of destruction and decay, which is a natural process of death and rebirth, going back to Scorpio New Moon, right? Death and rebirth, right? The way for birth to happen is for death to happen. And so there is that part of decaying and death. But we also have to remember the sanctity of life, the sanctity of birth, the sanctity of what we are creating in the future. And so that's what we really want to hone into, is just really just shedding those skins and shedding what doesn't align anymore with us, so that we can really call and honing into our hearts of what we desire for ourselves and humanity. And if we do that and we just keep doing this and we keep showing up for ourselves and each other and we keep coming together, we've got this. We really have got this. I'm just really excited because I know that humanity is going to win, and I know that we're going to get through this together. I really, truly believe this. And, again, I have so much to say, but I'm not going to say it all. But again, it's just about us showing to choose bravery and courage at this crossroads, and leading with courageous love. There's the energy of warrior that I believe can be a healthy, loving warrior, that's strong with boundaries, and like in our power, but also being a place of love, like so passionate about loving humanity that we're going to be here and show up and serve humanity. So again, thank you so much for listening to our astrology here. And, if you're interested in booking a session with me, definitely feel free to reach out to me. All the information will be below, or there'll be a contact information so that you can book a session with me for breathwork healing, for shamanic healing, for any kinds of herbal support. I do herbal work with clients as well. And I will also be starting my circles this month, most likely at least the breathwork and the cacao ceremonies. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm looking to do some stuff online too. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And again, just remember, humanity is going to win. We are here in this together, and I truly stand by my words about us liberating humanity, which starts with ourselves, right? And then really, really reclaiming our power and being these courageous warriors of love, unifying, and then being able to truly, truly, truly bring about the prophecies of my elders and restore Eden on earth.